back. Thank you so much for waiting around. This is the continuation of Roll for Mischief, our episode entitled What Lies Beneath. Eridu is still in jail, which is unfortunate, and Alton and Onn are hanging out with Darius, who was just their enemy, now is their acquaintance again. Like, I don't even know. I can't even keep track. But Darius is under the impression that you two are going to help him do a raid. And he had just finished his apple while you guys were conferring with each other, and he just hikes the thumb in this direction and goes, "Time's a wasting. Let's go."
Okay. Is the raid right now? Is that because that would be a question that they would have resolved before the conversation? Is the raid right now?
If y'all have time, there's no time like the present.
Okay. Okay.
I had thought that Onn had made a point about securing Eridu before he was going to assist.
Right. That's why I was trying to think for a second, because that's why I wanted to. Okay. So that was like how I wanted to broach into that conversation for a second, because he would have all that stuff in mind on the walk back to them. So
For sure. Yeah. I mean,
say
not,
this, so
yeah.
I'm gonna go. Okay. Onn had some good ideas. There are some potential beyond just having an extra body to help with this raid. Eridu apparently has some financial connections that would be potentially beneficial to you, and it would seem that we don't want to risk him dying in between now and the raid. So it's best if we get him free by whatever means that is necessary, whether we go in and break him out or you front us the money for the bail, and we take care of that. So that way, so that way we can get more for you, and we can have more people to conduct this raid.
So let me get this straight. You're turning this around on me now, where either I give you money or I come with you on what is clearly a suicide mission.
You don't
Do
have to
I have
come
this
with.
straight? Am I hearing this correctly?
You don't have to come with. If you don't want to come with, if you don't want to risk yourself, this raid, as I understand it, is not time sensitive. You don't need. There's no shipment going to or fro. We are just going to go in and clean house. If you want to distance yourself from it and have a great alibi, we'll take care of it by ourselves. I'm providing you with options, because if you can create some involvement, there is a social lubricant for you to have a better connection with, to make more money and have a better connection with Eridu's with his financial support, contacts, because apparently he made a ton of money.
I believe, Darius, that rather than you owe us money, we have a moral debt to you at present, where you have a significant financial loss that we contractually have no obligation to, but on a moral basis, and to curry good favor with your good self, to also secure safety for our own lives, as you have threatened them so, we wish to address this imbalance, to pay our debt. We are suggesting that the best way for us to do so is to, rather than take part in an impromptu raid now, which is taking place during the times that we would otherwise be occupied with tasks that you had also hired us to do, such as moving this shipment, which has now gone up in flames, we're suggesting we leave and go and find out what we can about Eridu's situation, rescue him if we can, and then return with our financially wealthy compatriot, and then conduct your raid and secure our relationship for the future. Your relationship with 2 capable individuals and a third person who has proven less capable with town guards, but is more capable with the social lubricant that Alton was alluding to. It's gold, by the way. I found that a little difficult to translate in my own mind for a few seconds there, but I eventually thought...
First of all, you two are just awful at negotiating. You two are just really, really bad at,
Why they
at
need their social
negotiating.
lubricant guy.
I have a negative charisma. I am awful at. I'm playing this for a reason.
I don't. I did learn, Darius, from a criminal mastermind that I recall being brought in by the guards some months ago. He said, first you get the money, then you get the power. There was a third step. I can't quite recall what it was. Regardless, he seemed to be a wise man. He had a scar on his face.
I think it's cute that you're trying to strike a different sort of deal, but you clearly don't understand the dangerous aspect of what you're doing, and you can go ahead and throw yourselves to the wolves for all I care. But I've got better things to do.
That is a shame, Darius, that our relationship has soured to the point that it has. But as we have pointed out, our moral obligation is to our friend.
And like I said, your morals are only going to get you killed. You better abandon them before it's too late.
Look, I understand the situation that we're in. I'm not concerned about saving Eridu, personally. I don't know him that well. He seems like a nice guy. A little weird. Quite frankly, a little weird. I want to put us back into a friendly relationship. And I think that the best way of doing that is because I don't care about the money. That's a thing. I want us to be able to work together in the future if need be. And you are a man of wealth and who desires that, and that's whatever. And the best way to do that, to repair our relationship, is to get what you desire most, which is money. Unfortunately, I'm not a money guy. I don't care about money, so I don't have much money. And Onn doesn't seem to be able to know how to track money or anything in life. He clearly doesn't have much money. So the one of us who does is Eridu, unfortunately. And since he has money and he knows how to make contacts to get money, it serves that he's our best choice to salvage the damage that he created.
Look, I've written off Eridu entirely.
That's fine.
And my advice to you is to do the same. If I'm done with you. Goodbye. And at that, he's gone. He just he just bamps into the shadows. He's just gone.
Okay.
And let's transfer over to Eridu, who everybody has written off for dead. Just kidding. No, you're still alive. Just kidding. You're still alive. So they weren't really able to fix your door. You kind of mangled it a little too much.
Yeah,
You just
yeah, a little bit.
you just don't know your own strength, even though you're a sick and weak withdrawing junkie. You're able to find the strength to bust that thing down.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
I
buddy.
thought you were gonna make that as a hallucination, honestly.
No, I'm pretty sure that was really loud when that happened, like a
Yeah,
crack of thunder or some crap happened.
it was
No,
for real.
like you thought it happened, but it never happened.
Oh, no, it totally did. I
No, it
totally used
totally
context
happened.
to make
No,
that
I
happen.
understand. I'm just saying
Yeah.
when you were doing it, I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So what they ended up doing is that they ended up moving you to a different cell, and the two guards stood by your cell for quite a while, saying absolutely nothing, occasionally looking back at you just to get a visual on you and make sure you weren't doing anything nefarious. But
Like punching down doors.
like punching down doors. But enough time passes and all you've been doing is like meditating or whatever, so they get bored. They adjourn to the other room and you can hear their low voices going back and forth. From what you can tell, it seems like they're playing a card game or something, you know.
Probably with my tarot deck.
Yeah, probably using your tarot deck to play a card game. They don't need the tower. The tower's still in your cell.
That is not how divination works.
Yeah.
You guys suck.
So you're left
It's so expensive.
so you're left alone. There is something curious about this cell that you're in. It has an opening in the in the wall, and it doesn't lead to the outside, but it's just definitely, you know, like about like a mouse hole size opening right at the bottom, and you hear a soft squeaking noise coming from the little mouse hole in your cell.
Eridu is going to he's going to approach it and he's going to sit next to the mouse hole and whisper, "Hello? Are you there, little friend?"
Squeaky, squeak, 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 squeakins.
I do not understand mouse, but this is okay. I'm going to attempt a handle animal check to just like see if I can catch this little guy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a 10 in total.
That's a very satisfying sound that you get when you roll the dice.
I know, I'm rolling it on a metal chair, which
Click.
isn't always the best because it just goes boom right on the
Clickety clang.
ceiling roll.
Okay.
Yeah, bending lower, I'm just going to just softly whisper some kind of mantra to it while holding out my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that not working, I'm going to start like trying to mimic its sounds as best as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I got a 10 on my animal check, so
Yeah. So you are squeaking away, trying to connect with the creature, and then you put your hand down to the mouse hole, and then this big rat just comes and crawls right on the palm of your hand. And you lift it up a little bit, and you're looking, and the rat is just going, and then just darting around and looking everywhere. And then when it looks like it scans the whole room, it leaps off your hand and starts to transform. And it's your old friend Bredis from like session 1.
So if I would be mimicking a rat sound, it would sound more like, because those are the sounds I made at my rats when I had them.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't actually squeak. I just did little clicks.
Okay.
That was for Alex, who wanted to hear Eridu squeak.
Yeah. When when Bredis transforms into her elven form, you actually catch her with kind of a blush on her face as she looks at you. You're realizing that maybe you said something in rat speak that was like maybe translated a little not the way that you were intending.
I am sorry. I am not proficient in speaking with rats.
Few are. Don't worry. And she keeps looking around and has that very anxious, I don't know, rat-like alertness still about her.
Brutus, you have now imprisoned yourself. Why are you here?
First of all, I am never imprisoned.
Well, yes,
A
you're a
dru-
little rat.
A druid of the sewers is always free.
Well, unfortunately, a monk of the cities is not.
It's an unfortunate position.
Yes.
I'm here exploring, I suppose, but I felt an energy. I felt a kind of draw to follow the path here. I would ask you what you're doing, but it seems self-evident.
Yes, I am imprisoned. Apparently, I have committed a crime.
Ah, yes. I can't say that I'm very familiar with the laws of the surface folk, but I'm sorry.
I forgive you. So, you've come to this place. Tell me more about the energy you felt.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I was reading.
Tell me more about the energy you felt.
It felt calming, inviting. It felt I don't know. I don't quite know how to describe it. I mean, I can't really, because I mean, you wouldn't understand when you are in the form of the animals. You don't think about things in the same way. You don't really use words to express things. It's more of an instinctual feeling.
Have you felt the Feywild recently?
It's complicated. Yes, but not the Feywild I'd like to experience. It's
Yes.
never been like it was.
I understand. It is much the same. Words fail, and all you feel is purity.
Her eyes get a little misty as you speak so fondly about the Feywild. You guys can definitely bond over this feeling of being so disconnected.
Oh yeah, Eridu kind of lost. Like he was staring at her pretty intently, and then when we started talking about it, just sort of like tracked off, and you could see this look in his eyes as though he's staring into a distant place.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're here, perhaps we could work on getting me out. I do not think these guards will let me out anytime soon, and I have unfortunately put myself into a bargain that I do not want to uphold.
The floorboards start creaking, and Bredis goes all surprised, and then she transforms very quickly into her rat form and just kind of like scurries back into the hole really quick, but you can still see her tail, just the tip of the tail, coming out of the hole. And one of the guards opens the door and comes in, and I can't really think of a good one right now, but he throws some really dirty, like, racial slur at you, something about being an elf, and he says, "Here's
Pointy. Anytime that you have
Pointy?
I can't
Okay.
think of an insult. Pointy ears. If you can't think of an insult for an elf, just come up with a Vulcan insult. And you're good to
Ooh,
go.
okay, that's fine."
Knife ears is also another one.
Yeah.
Dragon Age, I think.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
as long as
what's
you
that
don't
one?
say like green blooded, I think you're solid on pretty much every other.
Yeah, what was the one
Vulcan
you said,
insult.
Asa?
Knife ears, I believe is
Oh,
the
and knife
Dragon Age
ears.
one.
That's funny. Okay, so he
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
"All right, knife ears, here's your supper." And then,
Before he closes the door, I'll start to reach for the supper, and then I will drop to my side and start convulsing and foaming at the mouth and trying to say something.
oh wow. Well, give me a performance check.
All right.
He's like, clearly
That's literally what you're doing. That's literally what you're doing.
Can I have an advantage that I can use? Do I still have an inspiration from last game?
If
you
you
should. Or no,
did,
because we're still in the same episode, so I would assume.
yeah,
right?
I mean, if you didn't use it, you should still have it.
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Okay.
Don't use a crap out of that because I rolled a 6 to begin with.
Uh-huh.
Rolled a 16 second time around, so that's a 17 in total.
Mm.
And I had my inspiration thing marked, so I'm assuming that I have it.
The guard rolled like one higher than you. Literally. So he just so you just about like are about to touch the food bowl, and it just looks like a sloppy like gruel, nothing really that fancy. And then you start convulsing and on, bleh. And he says, very funny. I've seen it all before. And then he just reaches the bowl like through the bars and then turns it over and dumps it on your head.
How close is his hand to me?
Close enough to dump it on your head.
I'm gonna grab it.
Okay.
Make an attack roll?
Yeah, you can do a grapple. It's going to be like another contest. It's like athletics
this dice sucks.
Uh-huh.
I got a 6. So that's a 7 in total.
Okay. In your emaciated...
Actually, it's a dexterity roll, isn't it?
No, grapple is athletics versus athletics or acrobatics.
Yeah. So in this case,
So
Can
because
I argue that this would be a dex thing since I am acting on speed rather than full-on strength? Because I'm going to be grabbing it and then just like pinning it against the bar, which is not a strength feat; it's just a leverage.
No, that's still I don't know. That's up to the GM. Sorry,
I
almost rule.
I like your creativity, Asa, so I'll give it to you. You can use acrobatics check instead of
It's not going to be a huge
athletics.
difference. It's the difference between an 11 and a 7. I'd rather take the 11.
Okay. All right, so you will grab his hand deftly and just, throw it up against the bar?
So, he's reaching through a bar. I'm going to grab it and hold it against, so that the bar pushes into his elbow.
Oh, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I see. So he yelps in pain and then starts yelling the name of his guard companion.
You will open this door, or I will break it.
You dirty knife ears!
All right, I'm going to break it.
Okay.
This will be a strength check.
This will be a strength check for sure.
But it's okay because I got a 14, so that's a 15 on total.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, you hear a sickening snap sound as his arm goes the wrong direction. Oh, it just makes me cringe thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he screams
I'm gonna keep
bloody
holding the
murder.
arm, too, so we can't just pull his broken arm out of there.
Yeah. Okay, so the other guard comes running in and gosh, I don't know, actually takes his sword out when he sees
look
the
at him and
situation.
I'll put pressure on the arm again and say, "Don't make me break his arm a second time."
Oof.
Because now his arm is snapped back, but it's still
Yeah,
against the bars, so
for
I can push
sure.
his forearm through the bars.
Wow. Man, I'm not sure. Should we keep going with you, Asa, or try and see
go
what's
on.
up with? Oh, okay. All right. I just got to think about what to do.
If you need a second, head over to the other group, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I do need a second to think about
Cool.
what exactly to do. All right, so you guys, Darius just disappeared in front of your eyes.
Okay.
I think that what we should do is head back to where we last saw Eridu and see if we can pick up the trail. The guards took him. Oh, in fact, I've been speaking to the guards a lot over the last little while. We should be able to go to one of the guard houses and see where they might have taken him. I'm trying to think of how effective that would be. Okay. Hypothetical. We go to the guardhouse. We ask where Eridu is. The guards have, as far as they are concerned, legitimately arrested Eridu. They have no motivation in that case to tell us where he is. So going to the guardhouse would not work. Scratch that. We go to where he last was. We try and track the guards. Find out which guardhouse or prison it's been taken to. Potentially got some merit, but I'm not that good at urban tracking.
No, I don't have. Okay. You know what? All of this crap is starting to piss me off. Okay? I'm sick and tired of all of this stupid games and their machinations and all this other crap. Like, just... Okay. Look. We made a deal with Darius, and even though he backed out on the deal, that doesn't mean that I have to. Okay? I want to disrupt all of this. I want to shake it on its head. I want to disrupt everything, but I want to disrupt it in a way that benefits Darius because I gave my word that I would help him. We've got to find a way to bring in a outside force to change everything. Now, we have those elves, right? Those elves would help Eridu?
I would assume so. His relationship with them is his own. It's not one that I share. But there is another. I recall Onn... not Onn, that's me. I recall Eridu... Eridu, Okrim, and Aigna. They all worked with the elves together. Okrim is unfortunately deceased. Eridu is arrested. Aigna is the only one left. I understand he's outside of Twin Harbors at the moment, and so beyond our reach.
Yeah, you guys can't talk to him. That's against the rules.
Right. Well, he would be an NPC anyway, so it'd be fine. Hey, what about... Who else is a player? Who's about to be a player in it right now? Right? Isn't that the whole thing? You have players, you have people who are powerful.
My understanding of the situation as it currently stands is that we have Oren Vitrell. I thought that he would be someone opposed to whoever it was that was controlling the children. And so our meeting with Darius would expose potentially who that was, or be entirely disconnected. That was my anticipation. He's revealed that it's Garth, and that Garth is essentially immune, and that Oren Vitrell would not make any moves against Garth. So that's just, to me, players within town are all in Garth's pocket, which may or may not be the actual case.
What about, you said something about, someone coming in, a merchant or something?
Yes, there is an outside merchant. It's Ambassador Teladris.
Ambassador?
Yes. Now, here's the...
I actually totally forgot that he was ambassador.
Oh, he's an ambassador,
Yes,
all right.
He's an ambassador of the Azamar Kingdom. The kingdom that Okrim came from. It may very well be that he's a delegate to try and strengthen ties with Twin Harbors as a result of Okram's death. Okram, according to my understanding, was a noble among Azamar.
Oh.
So perhaps it would be good for us to get involved with Taladris. It behooves us to find out more about him, regardless. But who in town friendly towards that?
And they're powerful. I mean, look, I don't understand much, but I know that the Aasimar and the dwarves are the two big players in this part of the world, right? I know that the Dragonborn are reclusive but dangerous. But really, the big forces, the ones that could come in and not just disrupt but destroy any power dynamics, are those two, right? So if we can get, an ambassador, I thought it was like some merchant or something. We can get an ambassador here, and we don't have to have a cadre of a garrison of Aasimar soldiers. We just need a threat, right? Isn't that how all this works?
Potentially, although it does seem to have become a little less stable in the sense of it being in our favor, at least, and being known quantities, since external forces a few months ago increased their activities here. We may be making the situation worse. Regardless, we have a scant few hours before morning, and come morning, they could move Eridu to somewhere else. Trying to find out how to disrupt Garth's hold over Twin Harbors. I think we should take a secondary priority to retrieving Eridu. Garth has nothing to do with Eridu's capture right now. I'm sure Garth is probably on the other side of the city from where Eridu is. It's not even a consideration.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. No, I get you. Okay.
We need to find out where Eridu is. How could we find that out?
Okay. You know what? What time is it?
Damn near.
1 in the morning.
No, it's like damn near dawn, maybe. Because you guys,
Okay.
you guys have been like walking around with Darius and like talking about all sorts of manner of stuff and like getting here, getting there.
Ooh, the druids below. I got the feeling that there was some sort of connection between Eridu and those down below. Something that they shared, a want for something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Perhaps a connection that we could exploit in as nice a way as possible. We could go down and see them and see if they might be able to help us find Eridu. Some of them can turn into quite small creatures. Perhaps they could do some scouting.
Can they turn Eridu into a creature?
I'm not sure.
I've known some druids in my life. But some of the older ones can, those experienced ones can turn other people into other creatures. Could they do that?
I'm not sure.
If we can turn him into another mouse, then he could slip through the cracks, literally slip through the cracks. Wasn't one of them a rodent, like a gerbil or something?
Perhaps. What was her name? Beatrice? Beatrice? Let's head down below and see if we can find that out. There must be something that we can do. Yes, let's head down below, and if that all fails, then there's a trip that we could go on just outside of Twin Harbors to get some more help. There are some forces outside of Twin Harbors that I've manage to meet that might be able to help us along with Taladris. People friendly with Taladris who might help us gain some leverage. The Trail Guard. There's one in particular, Lauren, who I feel may be sympathetic to Eridu's plight if we're unable to rescue him by going to the Druids.
Okay.
I'll make sufficient introductions if that happens to be the case, but come, let us go down below, and I'll go looking for some sort of manhole cover or just steps down to the docks and slip into some...
I will, I have, so I've obviously set up I'm much more willing to go with, Onn now. I have found a little bit more, respect for him, than I've had in the past. So, and I did want to point out a little bit, obviously, definitely within this time frame, I've gotten all my gear back from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I haven't written down her name. That is
It made for
frustrating.
a much better interaction,
It's
don't worry.
it's Breedus.
Breedus.
Yeah.
Because you have the two least social people trying to do all of this social stuff, and the two who are the least connected to this world who are trying to navigate all of this. It's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's like, who are these people? They're all dumb. Why do we have to remember?
All right, so you guys are gonna go try and talk to some druids. Is that what's up?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thinking about it, seeing Alton and Onn go off on their own little adventure is essentially the equivalent of the droids cartoon from Star Wars. But
100%, yes.
So On is definitely C-3PO, and Alton is definitely R2-D2. Okay.
Yeah.
On so many levels. Absolutely, yes.
He's small. He's competent.
And Spunky.
It's funky, definitely aggressive, constantly pushing people into things. 100%.
Does that make Eridu Luke Skywalker?
Yes.
He's as white as Skywalker, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You're like a warrior monk. So
Yeah, kind of. Definitely a Jedi.
Wow. And who had any idea it was going to turn out like this? Who had any
Wait,
idea?
so does that make
Joseph Campbell is who?
Oh.
Joseph Campbell? He's like, this is going to be the hero's journey. You just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that make Agner? Is he Han Solo or is he Chewbacca? Or is he just an amalgamation of both?
He would totally be Han Solo because Akram would have been Solo. Or not Solo,
Chewbacca.
Han Solo.
So he would have been Chewbacca.
Okram would have been Han Solo.
So
Agner
Agner would have been Chewbacca.
He's
for
the
sure.
big guy that's there to beat stuff up, and now he's half spider. So he's a little furry.
Yeah, dude.
And much like both of them, they're the Han Solo.
Han Solo died.
Yeah. Very true.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry, spoiler alert. Sorry.
From 4 years ago. Shut up.
Look, some 3-year-old right now is gonna be watching this and like, no. They're like, I haven't seen that one, but I know the Darth Vader now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Now that we have ruined
so
Star Wars for everyone, yes. Darth
now
Vader's
now that we've done that, if Alton and Onn,
hold on.
what?
Pause.
Okay, yeah,
We watched Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom yesterday,
yeah.
and then I walked out, and the kids and I were talking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, and who would have thought that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker in the end,
Wow.
or like Luke's father or something?" I did like this whole dumb spoiler. They're like, "What?"
They had no idea.
They're like, "Yeah, no, I don't get that. This is one of the biggest spoilers to ever happen in history ever."
Yeah,
And my dad's referencing it right now.
yeah.
Anyway.
Oh well. So anyway, if Alton and Onn follow their noses, which should be pretty easy to do, then they can find the nearest sewer entrance. There's all sorts of little pipes and little culverts and all sorts of stuff to try and get all the sewage flowing out. And yeah, you guys are able to find a sewer entrance, and very conveniently in front of it there is a small pack of mangy dogs, like 3 or 4 of them, and a couple of them seem to be ripping into. They're ripping into what looks like the corpse of some like house cat. Yeah, they're just going at it, just ripping this poor cat apart, and yeah, as soon as you get into their line of sight, they all look up, with like gross stuff dripping out of their mouths, like.
Do you understand any of the things that I'm saying?
The one that is closest to you looks like this big, like, mastiff type, and he just gives one loud bark, and then slowly starts to shift and change and transform. And when he transforms, it's actually a dwarf, believe it or not, a really just bulky, barrel-chested, very stout dwarf with a deep voice. And all he says is, "Speak."
We dealt with Bredus recently. She is someone we would consider friendly with an acquaintance of ours, a mutual acquaintance, Eridu. He's been captured by the town guard because of a situation that we found ourselves in that was not entirely of our own making. We wish to find where he is and see if we can free him. We came here asking for your help. We know that the surface world has been unkind, and I do not wish to appear as though we are simply taking advantage of the resources that you have at your disposal. Your ability to transform into animals and go by unnoticed, perhaps going to smaller areas than we could get into, superior senses to track him down, and so forth. I wish to strike some sort of accord so that we might repay you for your services, be that protection or money, whatever it is that we can. Eridu is very important to me. We have to find him.
The lead dwarf, he transforms quickly back into his dog form, and then he looks at the other dogs, and they have this very adorable dog conversation where they just start barking at each other. One of the smaller dogs seems to be disagreeing with the alpha dog quite vehemently, and they actually get into a tussle. Like how you're hanging out and you're hanging out with dogs, and then all of a sudden they just start fighting, and you're like, "Are they okay?" And then the dog owner is like, "They're fine. Just let them do it." It's kind of like that. You guys are just watching these two dogs totally fight with each other. And
quick question.
Yeah.
A little ruling on speak with animals. Is that initiate a conversation with an animal specifically, or could I cast that and just be able to understand them?
I don't know.
Speak with is a single way. You communicate to it.
Oh, well, no, because it says that the knowledge and awareness of the beast is limited to their intelligence. It can give you information about nearby locations and monsters.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one because I thought there was one that specifically says you have no way of knowing if it understands what you're saying.
This is you might be able to persuade the beast to perform a small favor for you at the GM's discretion. Now, technically, they're not beasts.
Yeah,
It does sound as though you instigate a conversation. Yes.
Yeah.
But don't speak with words specifically.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that you are a little. Maybe you have this uncertainty of whether or not to actually do it because they're not technically beasts entirely. And and they look
I'm down with that.
Yeah, they look a little busy right now as well. But
I know that they're clearly talking about they're us in the situation. So normally I would just do that. But because I am kind of hazy on what druids can and cannot,
for sure,
how they operate. I can be on board with.
They might take
back.
They might take offense
they wouldn't
to it.
Know. It's not
okay.
They wouldn't know.
All right, so they're not fighting for very long before the smaller dog submits to the alpha, And the alpha male turns back to you and changes back to his dwarf form, and just says, "What is it that you are willing to offer?"
You have us at a disadvantage, friend. We would be willing to offer almost anything that you would ask for. Eridu is important.
Very well. We shall do this thing. After we do this thing, we shall discuss how you can pay us back.
That is beyond reasonable. Thank you.
At that, he stays in his dwarf form, but he barks at everyone else. And he'll start following you, and the dogs will start following you, and you guys will be going off and doing a thing. You've successfully convinced them. Yes.
Right. Let's go tracking. Can we use? Can we use the yes, English sentence. Good. Can we use the canine senses to help track Eridu and find out where he actually is?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you?
Thank you, Robin, for resetting your husband.
Yeah, seriously. So do you guys like have anything of Eridu's that you could put in front of the dogs' noses and say, "Hey, find this"? Because that's actually how that works.
Nope.
No, but Vilren might.
Okay.
You could return to Eridu's apartments. This is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunt Vilren down if he's not there.
Let's go to Eridu's place.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I get a roleplay Vilren? Because I totally know what he's up to.
Yes, you do.
I'm down.
We're just gonna fast forward to you guys at Eridu's apartment, and it's like so early in the morning, but I don't know. Onn would still probably knock on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The door opens really swiftly, and Vilren is standing there. He's a bit taller than Eridu, with very. Correct me if my description is wrong, Drew, or if for any reason you didn't give a description of him. I think he has really dark hair. Or is he
I don't
light
think
hair?
I describe his hair. So
Okay.
dark
No, you
hair is
didn't.
absolutely fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's got shoulder length, almost black hair, and he's got very large bags under his eyes if he hasn't slept for a while, and he's looking. He just kind of like opens the door with slouched shoulders and sort of an expectant look on his face, and then it drops when he recognizes that you are not Eridu. But looking at Onn, he says,
So sad.
Have you had any word of Eridu? I'm worried about him.
We were together until recently. Around midnight, he was taken by guards. We have reason to believe that he's being mistreated, and we were coming here to seek garments that might have his scent. We hope to track him down and help him.
Oh, what have you guys gotten yourselves into?
Some very unscrupulous business involving drug dealers and illegal activities.
That's the
I
truth.
knew Eridu was making some very distant choices, but this is okay. Give me a moment. I will gather some of his things. Look,
Probably something without traces of the many narcotics that he's been indulging in. That might throw off the canine scent.
yes, I will look for something.
Thank you.
That might have been news to Vilren. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it would be.
Yeah.
Vilren leaves the door open and as if he doesn't care if you enter or not, and marches back into the house and starts like very haphazardly tearing through things until he finds um, some not quite clean clothes. Thing that I don't know. He comes back and brings back to you and says, he hasn't worn these for maybe a week. Hopefully they're free of stench, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
Well, free of drugs scent.
Ah.
On. I need you to do me a favor. When you find Eridu, tell him that I will not be here when he returns. As much as I would love to stick around and help him, he has shut me out, and unfortunately I'm needed elsewhere, and I can't ignore my house's call any longer.
Wait, are you one of those rich elves?
I am from House Tackentire, if that's what you mean.
Yes. Perfect. I want to broker some stuff between you and a guy. I understand now's not a great time, but you might be able to increase your trade opportunities.
I have to stop you there. I'm a historian. I don't deal with the money. That's not my job. Look, I've been aware that Eridu has been spending large sums lately, and I was hoping. Honestly, I was expecting that it was somebody else. I thought he was buying extravagant gifts for someone else, but now I know what he's really been doing with it. I stashed away a bit, knowing that when he resolved whatever it was he was going through, he would not want to have squandered his entire earnings from the job he did with us. You can help yourself to what you need to pay for whatever these expenses are. I was able to put away about 10,000.
Half.
Do with it what you need. I have to pack.
If you require any assistance, Vilren, I'm afraid that we'll be unable to help in the short term, but we'll be quite busy rescuing Eridu.
If you need any help, I can't help you right now. Thank you, Onn. Just be sure that Eridu is safe, and he's going to be going through a lot emotionally. He will probably need a close friend.
I'll take the garment graciously, give it to the dwarf to let the canine sniff it. What Onn is also going to do is a small amount of character growth. He's going to think for a moment and then track down a messenger and pay them 2 silver pieces to go and find Emily and let her know to go and visit Vilren as soon as possible.
Yeah, as you leave, you might be hearing some sobbing at the other end of the door.
Yes, On is going to basically send Emily to the house to...
Because he knows that she'd be great for emotional support.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On is not very good at sport.
Right. So he has begun to be self-aware a little bit.
Okay, I'm making a note of that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, she'd be available for that because she's basically at the temple, so that's where she spends most of her time. So it'd be easy for him to just get a messenger to exactly where she's probably at, or direct them to go from there to another spot, and then go find him. That's like the easiest possible job for 2 silver. That's like a day's pay for the easiest job possible.
Not up on like currency exchange rates and things.
Yeah.
We're lucky On didn't go 10 gold. You know?
Right.
But yes, so we've got a garment of Eridu's. We'll give it to the hounds and see if we can track down where he might be. Which I understand this whole process would probably be like another stretch of time that is
Yeah.
either happening or started concurrently with where Eridu is, or is going to continue until we catch up to where Eridu is. I'm not quite sure where the time frame sort of sits.
We'll both find out where the time frames line up. And for right now, we're going to go back to Eridu. What's up?
Real quick,
Yeah.
I just wanted to. So Alton, whether anyone else notices or not doesn't matter to him, is going to grab that 10,000 gold. And
Villain said you could have it, right?
right.
Use it for bargaining purposes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, basically, and because he's maybe off camera or whatever, we can talk about the kinds of things that he wants to do with it. It's not going to be for personal gain.
Yeah, that's definitely an off-camera conversation because
Yeah,
economy is a boring thing to talk about on air.
Right, exactly. But yeah, I wanted to point that he grabbed that specifically that he did grab the 10,000 golds.
Okay.
And so, and what he does with that will be an off-camera conversation for right now. So I'll put that in my inventory, and then we'll go over that later.
All right. Making all sorts of notes about all sorts of stuff right now. All right, so we'll go back to Eridu. When we last saw Eridu, he had grabbed an arm, a guard's arm, who put his arm through the jail cell to try and do a very despicable gesture of pouring food on his head. Eridu what?
Eridu is quite literally breaking the law.
Yes. Yeah, you could say that the law has a long arm, and you grabbed that arm and snapped it back on itself.
It's like the most metal thing ever. I just snapped the long arm of the law.
Yeah, pretty much. That's very brutal, and I'm surprised that he's able to pull it off. But you rolled well.
Brutal with umlauts over the U.
Brutal. All right, so the other guard just does not know what to do, but with one hand he puts his sword into his other hand. He snaps the keys off of his belt, and he runs forward to unlock the door. And it looks like he's just gonna beat the ever-loving shit out of you once he gets inside.
Okay. I am going to reach through the bars and grab the guard's sword, the one who I'm currently grappling.
Mm-hmm.
You need me to check for that?
I'm not sure what kind of check, because it's not like you're trying to do it stealthily. It's not.
I mean, you could just say I do it if you want.
I think you just do it.
All right. I reach in and I grab the sword, draw it, and put it to the guard who I'm grappling's throat, and look at the other guard and say, when you unlock this door, you will back away. No one, you should know, anyone trained in the Shigeli will kill the second they have drawn a sword.
You filthy knife-eared freak. You're not going to get out of here.
I'm going to go and kind of tut at Brutus.
Uh-huh.
That's her name, right? Brutus?
Brutus, yeah.
Brutus.
That's it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of click something rat-like to her.
Uh-huh.
And ready in action, that the moment that he opens the door, I am going to attack him.
Okay.
Let go of the guard I'm holding on to, and I'm going to just aim a shot at his throat, but I know I'm not going to kill him in one hit.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, so pretty much all this happens, like, simultaneously. Britas darts out of the hole and starts her whole transformation. When she's completed her transformation, like, it's like she's transforming, and you see the shape of her body, like, as she's transforming, she's already in the swing of something. Like, either she's coming down, or it's more like she's thrusting. She's got her quarter staff, and she's just going to thrust her quarter staff as soon as she's done doing the transformation. It looks super cool.
Cool.
And then the guard opens the door, and he's got his sword ready to go. And then you've readied your action, and you're going to do it. So it's all happening simultaneously. Should it all just like... Should we just roll for initiative and see who gets to do them first, or...
Probably, since it's all happening at once, might as well just... It sounds like a standard initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a short sword I've pulled, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the guard coming at you also has a short sword.
Okay. My initiative is a 12.
Wow. The guard rolled the natural 20 on his initiative.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay.
Falls in everything. Just
Um,
aerate you a bit.
Yeah. So the order is that the guard gets his off first. Burritos does her transformation, and then we'll try and have a shot at the guard, and then you'll go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the guard swings, only gets like an 11 against your AC,
Okay.
and that does that hit or
that
miss?
misses.
That misses because you
Yes.
have unarmored, dexterity, armor.
So he
dexterous.
swings, and I jump back as his sword connects with the space where my body was once at.
Yeah.
Who's next on the initiative shot?
Burritos.
Breedus, okay.
And I'm gonna say she's definitely got her shillelagh thing going on, or something. So she's probably gonna do some more damage if she connects. That's definitely a connection. So the guard. Hold on, let me reference some numbers here. Yeah. All right. Breedus's quarterstaff goes expertly, threads the needle, goes in between the two bars, and just clocks this guy like on the jaw. Like he goes like, wah, and then this quarterstaff comes and goes, psh, oh, and that looks like it hurt.
Yeah.
And then Asa.
All right, so I'm going to move in and drop a key point to start with. Oh no, I can't do that. Damn it! I keep forgetting that I have to make the melee attack before I can do flurry of blows.
Yeah.
I hate that. Just because in my head I'm like, pop into the couple of punches and then you strike with the sword. Like that would be the most efficient way to do combat. But I can't do that in that manner. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and swing with the sword first, which is a 12 versus his AC.
That will miss, I'm afraid.
Okay. And then I'm going to use my key point to flurry of blows. So.
But you said you had to hit with the attack to do flurry of blows?
No, it's just when you make an attack action. I read it wrong last one. Take the attack action.
Okay, cool.
Because your bonus action can still be
just a normal hit. Yeah.
It's a regular attack if you attack as your primary action.
Yeah.
With light weapons or hand or whatever.
Fisticuffs.
All right. So then,
yes.
Then like my sword being deflected by his armor, I just come in real quick with a one punch. That's a 17 versus AC.
And that hits.
And I'll give you the damage on that because my next attack will for sure miss. That is 4 damage. And then I rear back to do another punch. I rolled a critical 1, so I'd like to describe what happens. You're cool with that?
Please do.
The guard goes to attempt to push the door shut, and I crack my fist right into the metal as the door. It's enough to deflect the door from closing all the way, but it
hurts.
I mean, just outright punching a metal door hurts if you're not using key points to blow it back with this metal power.
Go ahead and take 1 point of damage as you go owie.
Okay.
Owie.
Yeah.
As I'm
exactly like that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's a boxer fracture right there.
Yeah, dude. That's some real stuff.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Okay, so it is the guard's turn first, and he is gonna do actually an athletics check to see if he can forcibly close the cell door on you guys.
So I've got to oppose it.
I think that is what will happen.
All right, this is one that can I oppose it with acrobatics and do like a tumble through the door?
Well, I mean,
I would assume
it
that would be if
depends
you
on.
try to escape through the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
It
to try
just
to hold it
it
closed.
just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to
I'm
hold,
trying to get through the door before he closes it.
yeah.
That's my...
So in that case, yeah, it would be a contest between your acrobatics to tumble through and then his ability to slam it shut.
Slam it shut with his athletics. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
So
I know
basically
Brutus
it's
can turn
like-
into a rat and get to the bars herself.
Yeah.
Oh, this dice sucks for me. I rolled a 2.
What is your total?
My total's a 5.
How do you resolve ties? Because we tied.
Oh.
Roll off again? I don't know. Maybe like nothing happens. Like we just both ended a stalemate.
Well,
No.
Like
what you could establish is that the roll that the dungeon master makes is a roll for the NPCs, and that establishes the DC, the difficulty.
Yeah.
And so the player
Has to-
matching or beating.
Oh, it's
Oh.
if you match it or beat it. Okay. Well,
yeah.
cool.
I think that's the
All right.
I think that you have to have.
That's a good way to do that. So, by the hairs on your chinny chin, Eridu, you are able to tumble through. You feel this strange feeling as the door closes and slams shut behind you. It catches your clothes, your baggy burlap clothes. It catches it just a little bit, and you think you're going to get stuck in the meeting of the two, but you're just far enough away to be cleared by this
Okay.
point. And that's the guard's action, and he spends the rest of his turn like he has a bit of a movement, so he steps back from you far enough, and his poor friend is still his friend still has his arm in the cell door,
yeah.
and is
Which
just
has been
and he's
open
getting
and closed.
exactly he's getting jerked around, and he's
Yeah.
screaming in agony, and his friend is like really not able to do anything for him because he's occupied with you two.
Mhm.
So Brita spends her turn, wants to get out of the cell, so she turns into a rat form and then just scurries into the corner behind you.
All right. I will actually. I will ready my action.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I'm not okay. And I'll like kind of crouch down with like my sword pointed, ready to go, and like kind of balancing myself. And I'll look at him and I will say, "See to your friends, or you will not walk out of this place alive.
Wait.
Let us go."
Oh, okay. How about persuasion check, or you could try intimidation check, or something check.
I feel like that would be an intimidation.
Yeah, I'm
Because
looking
he's
at.
threatening him with his life. I feel like that would be intimidation.
I mean, in both cases, I think that. Yeah, I mean, my intimidation is slightly less better, but it's gonna be fine either way.
Mm-hmm.
By that I mean it's not that great. But I got a 20. I rolled a 19 and I got a +1 with my intimidation. So
Oh my god. Wow. Well, in that case, no, it's a good way to do that. Eridu feels, as soon as he's in that powerful stance with the sword, he's been having a very clouded, confused mind, trying to think about everything that's been happening, trying to process it. But he feels for one beautiful moment the absolute clarity and lucidity that he only finds through intense meditation. He has that clarity. The words come to his lips, and they feel like they landed with so much power. You see fear in the guard's eyes, just purely unabashed fear. And he quickly drops his sword, grabs his friend, rips his friend from the cell, and that jangles around his arm, and then it's flopping around uselessly, and he just keeps screaming, and the other guard doesn't look at you and rushes out of the guardhouse as quickly as he can.
okay. I will head for the exit of the guardhouse as well. And looking down at Brutus in a rat form, I'm assuming she's following me. Brutus, thank you for your assistance. Brutus, thank you for your assistance. I'll duck down a little bit and put my hand down so she could like scurry out of my palm if she wants to. That way we can move a little faster.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah. She'll actually get right up on your shoulder and starts actually nuzzling your neck a little bit in appreciation.
Taking a moment to be kind of careful as I'm leaving the guardhouse to make sure I'm not following anybody else. I'll keep the sword in my hand. It's not until after I leave the guardhouse that I'll just, if I can, like I'll probably hold on to it till I get close to a bridge and then just chuck it into the water.
The sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you gonna take an opportunity to try and retrieve any of your other effects?
That's probably not a bad idea. Actually, of the effects that I have, I think my sword is the one thing that I would need to retrieve. My actual sword.
Your actual sword.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just
I don't remember what else I had, but that's important.
yeah. Well, just like in any Elder Scrolls game, you go into the room where there's the evidence chest, and and there it is. There
So
it is.
convenient.
So conveniently right there. But
Remember to grab all your wheels of cheese.
Yeah,
I'll
the wheels
grab
of cheese.
my sword and anything else that was value. I'm gonna leave the clothes just because they were already tattered and kind of destroyed.
Yeah, so you're still looking like a burlap prince, and
Yep.
You want your tarot cards?
Oh, of course. I forgot
Yep.
about those. I'll sweep those up off the table.
Yep. And the tower.
And well, I've had the tower the whole time.
You've had the tower, that's true.
I stuffed it into whatever little burlap pocket might exist here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right, you got your sword, you got your cards, you got your wheels of cheese, and you are stepping out. And you pretty much as soon as you reach the water and chuck your other sword, the guard sword, into the water and hear the splash, then you hear
Wipe my hand, that's gross.
yeah. You hear a barking of dogs. And coming around the corner, there's a pack of 4 mangy, disgusting-looking dogs. And running behind them, huffing and puffing and trying to keep up, is Alton and Onn. Oh, and Dom.
I guess I would have crouched down, like with my hand on my sword hilt, just kind of ready, thinking that I'm in danger again, and then just. Where have you two been?
Eridu,
Yes, on.
greetings. We have come to rescue you.
Oh, well, thank you, but it appears I don't need rescuing. I am no damsel.
Quite. Well, then,
Go ahead.
shall we retire to somewhere a bit more conducive to a conversation and a rest?
Yes, I think so. And stepping forward, as the adrenaline drains from me, I'm going to put an arm on On's shoulders as if to embrace him, and then I'm going to vomit all over his shoes.
I'm just going to stare at the vomit on my shoes, and then after a few moments, look over to the dogs. We no longer need your services. We found Eridu. Thank you very much.
I believe, being someone who knows dogs quite well, you would be looking over at them and then realizing they're down by your feet.
Yep.
Because dogs would be
they-
on that vomit
Oh,
so
they'd be
fast.
on that vomit.
Well, yeah, but they're people. Like, they're druids. They're not.
They were eating a house cat. They're dogs.
Yeah, yeah. They actually, since there's like 4 of them, they lick up the vomit pretty quickly, and the alpha male transforms back into his druid form and just goes like this, like
Drips of vomit in his dwarven beard.
Oh, that's
you were.
that's
You-
that's where the line is drawn.
You,
This is why they are underground.
Yeah.
he says a deal was made.
A
You
deal
have
was made.
You have something to
And-
offer. That was our understanding.
Yes, and if it wasn't for you, we would not have found Eridu at the moment. Granted, a full rescue was not required, but we do need to pay you back, and I have not forgotten that. Do you know what it is that you would like from us as repayment now, or would you like to call on this favor in a future time?
The Breedus in rat form on Eridu's shoulder just starts squeaking madly and looking directly at the alpha male, and she jumps down next to that dude's feet, and then the alpha male dude just looks down and sighs, like, oh god, not again. And then he transforms into a big burly rat form with missing patches of fur, and then they just start squeaking at each other. Squeak, squeak, squeak. And then they both turn into their humanoid forms, one elven, one dwarven. And the alpha male looks very frustrated, and Brita says, look, everything will be figured out later. We have a lot of very confusing things have happened, and we all need to take stock of the situation. And I believe we can work together more. And yes, for right now, let's not talk about who owes whom.
It would be best to go somewhere where the guards are not likely to follow. They might know of Eridu's place of abode, and it may be best to avoid going back to Eridu's place in the short term. Bredus, I
Yes.
hate to impose. Might we accompany you down below and discuss things there together?
Her eyes flash with a little bit of excitement, and she says, oh, of course. No, yes, we have plenty of room. We would be more than happy to accommodate.
Thank you.
Quick question: would we have, based on location, would we have swung by my place to go grab Domini?
Yes.
Worst case scenario, you could always send one of the druids in animal form to go and communicate with Omni.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll find out one convenient way or another to make it happen. But I'll say that
Okay.
Domini was just able to reunite with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just hand wave it. That's fine. I
Yeah,
just
just
wanted
hand
to-
wave it. Yeah, you guys can figure something clever out to make that work.
or just hand wave it. That's-
Or-
I'm
or
okay
hand
with
wave
I just
it.
wanted
The
to-
druids is like the easiest.
This is the
way in
easiest
that
way to do
sense.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Unless Domini would have some severe
Yeah.
like roleplay incursions in that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
So-
know.
Probably, but we'll just hand wave it. I don't. There's no need to create fuss. Over
Yeah.
it.
So you guys are now on the lam, as they say, and heading deep into the sewers, following a rat and some mangy dogs who are going to
That
take
we
you
are.
who are going to take you to a safe haven. And
Okay.
I'll just tell you guys, as far as like your character sheet maintenance goes, you guys will have the time to do an extended rest, a long rest.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will recover my 2 Kai points and 1 missing hit point.
that's true. I gave you 1 hit point from hitting the
Although,
hitting
you know,
the
to be
thing.
fair, he would have probably wrapped his hand, so I probably have a hand wrap. You know, it's just little damage. I mean, I'm not joking about a boxer's fracture. That's probably a 1 hit point worth of injury.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
for sure.